Hi, I'm Ben Stacey, and welcome to the Tailslate. I'm here today with Shane McLaren, and we are at the Strange and Astounding show. And we are both actually on a paranormal investigation team called Proo. And was it last weekend, wasn't it?
Last
weekend, we did a paranormal investigation at the Hinsdale House, a house in New York State, which has a lot of purported paranormal activity. A lot of people have investigated there. And we thought we'd just chat a little bit about that and what our experiences were like. So you, out of all of us, sort of seem to be affected the most. Describe even before we went, what was happening?
Well, it was kind of funny, and at first for me, the week prior to going there, every night it seemed I had dreams about this house, even though I had never seen it before. So I had dreams of me standing at the top of a staircase and looking down and never seeing anything but just the stairs. And when the first time I walked into the house, there's this set of stairs.
That's right,
and
yeah.
That was a great start for the evening for me because like right then and there I was kind of freaked out and a little bit nervous. So definitely a first for me. So,
and even driving up, you and Paul and our group were feeling sort of
it seemed the closer we got to the facility, both of us started feeling heavy in the chest and a little bit anxious, and that could just be nerves, something simple like that. But we both felt it, and just a little bit anxious while being there. So
unfortunately, I didn't really feel much. I'm the skeptic of our group and really don't believe there's anything out there. Unfortunately, I didn't have those feelings other than I have a good imagination, so there is that apprehension of going to a haunted house. But the place itself was pretty cool. It's this abandoned house. They've still got it furnished, kind of as what it was like when the last family lived there.
Yes.
And the last family that had lived there, they had experienced a lot of weird stuff, even stuff that forced one of their daughters out of her room and had to move down into a different room. One of the family did die in the house, is that correct? Or was it afterwards died?
Honestly, I haven't looked much into the history because I didn't want to know any of the stories or any of the hot spots. I just wanted to go in completely open and see what I felt and then compare it afterwards.
So when we were there, you, like I said, you seemed to be getting the brunt of it all. What was happening when we were there?
Normally I tend to keep my eye on Paul because he's the one generally, I wouldn't say being attacked, but the spirits seem to attach themselves more to Paul because he is more open to it. So this time it happened to be my turn, and again that's a first for me. So I had my hair touched while I was lying in one of the beds. Felt completely surrounded a couple of times where it was almost overwhelming, and to the point where I got frustrated and said either do something or get lost. I can't deal with you playing with me right now. Just get out of here. And that's almost seemed to be a turning point for me because it seemed to almost leave me alone after that. I felt much calmer and just more at ease in the whole house. So maybe my aggression was enough to say, okay,
to push it away.
Let's move on to somebody else. We're not getting the reaction we need out of this guy. So
it was interesting because the night, it seemed to be a lot of feelings, not just at the beginning, but throughout the first, I guess, half of the night, and then it seemed to calm down because even when we were all sitting around, there was sort of a living room area where we could. There's some couches, and if we got tired, we could sleep. And a couple of you decided to sleep, no problem. But I know I was, even though I'm a skeptic, was feeling nervous about going to sleep. Rob's wife, Mel, didn't want to close her eyes because she was thinking, geez, it's when we go to sleep that something's going to get us. And but it sort of seemed to, even for us, calm down to the point where we're all comfortable going to sleep for a little while.
And it seemed to be between almost midnight and 3 a.m. I think there was kind of a lull. And then for whatever reason, we all seemed to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's when we started hearing the footsteps in the kitchen area, the shadows in the kitchen area. So it was almost like let's give them a break for a few hours, let them catch up,
And then come
and then we'll hit them again.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. But yeah, it was actually nice having Mel there.
Yeah.
Because A, it added a female presence,
Yeah.
and B, someone who has not really done a lot of investigating with our group. So her reactions and her responses are genuine, and they it's an open kind of feeling for her. It was fun to actually watch her be almost afraid to go somewhere by herself, and where we're all used to it now. We're like, I'll go sit in that room. She was like, no, I can't be there. And that for me made it kind of more interesting. Well, now I really want to go there. Why don't you want to go in there? So
exactly. I do find it interesting, even as a skeptic. I don't mind being places on my own. For me, it's getting there on my own. If I have to walk up the stairs on my own, into a room on my own, it's the journey there. I get really nervous because I guess what's around that next corner, and you're like, you don't know.
And Paul has said it in the past. Sometimes it's not the spirits that you worry so much about. It's when you go to these abandoned buildings.
Oh yeah.
It's is there a homeless person in this room, and I'm going to walk in on something, and that is sometimes more fearful than the spirits were there to find. So that does add an interesting element to it when you go to these abandoned places like the Picton facility, or this one is fairly secure, but places like Picton are wide open, so anybody can be in and out of there at any time. So that does add a little bit of fear to it.
Well, even this one, we were able to investigate a little bit outside on the grounds, but we weren't sure where the property ended.
Right.
And we were in the States, and we had already driven past somebody with a gun in their backyard doing target practice. And we heard gunshots when we got there in the distance. So we're going, this is America. We could get shot.
It definitely was on the back of all of our minds, I think. Yeah. Trespassing, is dealt with a little differently than it is where we're from. So, and we did have someone that I think it was around 2:30.
Somebody drove
into the driveway, and this place is in the middle of nowhere, on the end of a dirt road. It's not like you take a wrong turn and you end up in this place. You come here on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was like, why are you coming in here? Now everybody's wide awake and alert.
That's right. Now outside though. You had some experiences outside as well.
Yeah. In the forest, I decided to go up there by myself at the beginning of the night when everybody was getting the background of the building. And the first time I went up there was fine. It was still daylight, and I could see where I'm going, and it was okay. There's definitely like an eerie feeling in there. But when we went up at night, I decided to venture off by myself, and I just sat quietly and could hear footsteps coming up behind me in the leaves.
Yeah.
Now, being in a forest, that could be a chipmunk.
Yeah, it could.
You have no idea, but your head is saying, that's footsteps coming up behind me, and you can't see your hand in front of your face out there, so you're just like, okay,
what is that?
What's coming up behind me here? So, but yeah, and then Paul and I went back to the forest and heard what sounded like just horrible screams. And just someone in agony. And it was off in the distance, but we couldn't put our finger on it. There is a highway that is, maybe 10 miles from the facility, and it depends on the way the wind is.
I don't know whether the sounds you heard were the same ones. I heard later on, what sounded like the tires of trucks going on the highway, which kind of sounded like a high-pitched thing, but I don't know if it was that or something else.
Very well be what it was, but it was definitely it was an odd sound for us in the forest, for sure.
Cool. But would you go back there?
Absolutely. Like I told my wife, I'm not in a huge hurry to go back. Like, I need to go back there next week. But I think that there is some stories untold there, and I think we need another shot there. Given the stories that I've heard after the investigation about that place, I think we had a really, really light evening.
I think so too. There's some
so
pretty
that happens.
stories.
Sometimes they come out and sometimes they don't. So we definitely need another shot there. I would just prefer to go when the weather's just a little bit warmer.
It was kind of cool, there was frost on the ground in the morning. It was chilly.
we could get outside and do a little bit more investigating out there.
So that was Shane and my experiences at the Hinsdale House in New York. I may get a chance to speak with Paul a little bit at this Strange Astounding show and ask him what he thought. And be sure to look for our episode that we're going to be releasing of our investigation at the Hinsdale House. But that's it for now. See you later.